What up, what up, what up, my dudes? My name is Kevin Duty. Welcome back to the channel. Check this out. This is a little plaque that I made today. Figured it'd be kind of cool to have like a, something hanging out in the corner of the video just to remind people to subscribe and to direct them to my Instagram. Guys, if you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and do that because that's where I'm going to be announcing giveaways. I will be announcing when I'm going to be going live on YouTube, and also you'll be able to see some pictures of progress on knives that I'm making. Some beauty shots from knives in my collection. So go ahead and go over there and follow me on Instagram so you are up to date on all the good stuff we got going on. Now this is a thick piece of plate that basically I spelled out the letters with fingernail polish, and then I dipped it in ferric chloride. So darkened up the metal. The nail polish protects whatever areas it's on. Now the letters did not come out quite as crisp as I was hoping. Perhaps I didn't put the nail polish on thick enough on the kind of the edges, and the smaller letters down here on the bottom I actually did with Sharpie. And Sharpie is supposed to resist the acid, but you can kind of see it doesn't look quite as good as it does with the nail polish up above here. So I don't think Sharpie is really the best way, I realized. But the letters were too small for me to spell it out with the nail polish, so but not too bad. The other kind of downside is I think I made it too shiny. I spent too much time sanding this thing, and I put a clear coat on it because in the right light it's actually really hard to see it. But I think, is that readable? Kind of. What if I tilt it? Yeah, right there is perfect. Let me see if I can. What if I do that? Is that better? Yeah, that's better. Doesn't look very good, but oh well. Alright, so today we are going to be reviewing this little guy. This is the Civivi McKenna, and this is quite possibly the most fun I've had with a knife in a while. This is a very, very fidgety knife. It is a very, very fun knife to operate. It's very smooth, it's quick, it's snappy, it's very thin behind the edge, very slicey, and I just really love everything about this knife. So it is a dedicated front flipper. Bam. Look at that. Let's get some measurements real quick. We have an overall length of 6 3/4 inch. We have a blade length of 2 7/8 inch, and we have a closed length of about 3 7/8 inch. So yeah. So it's a little guy. Let's do some size comparisons real quick just so you can see exactly how little it is. Here it is against the Bug Out, much smaller than the Bug Out. The Rat 2, smaller than the Rat 2. How about some Civivi button locks? We have the Civivi Chevalier and the Civivi Altus, another smaller knife that I've been really loving. And how about, let's see, we'll do the PM2, and we'll do, let's see, we'll do the PM2 and we'll do the Demco AD 20.5. There you go. It's a little guy. It's definitely a little guy. But you can get a full 4-finger grip on it. At least I can. I have medium to large sized hands. So, again, this thing is small, but it's not meant for real hard cutting tasks. You're not going to be gripping this thing with your whole might, pressing it through, shaving wood or anything like that. This is a quick, snappy little package opener. slicer. You can cut some cardboard with this thing. I wouldn't want to cut a bunch of cardboard with it, but you definitely could. Yeah, this is just a really nice, small, slim EDC knife. Now we do have a little cutout here, a triangular cutout, but it is just for looks. You cannot get your thumb in it for the thumb flick or the reverse flick. It is simply just for looks, and I quite like it. I think it looks really good. This is definitely a unique knife. It is an Isham design. Interesting lines, kind of. We got a little hump here on the handle, and then it swoops down to this point, and then down further to the tip. So it's got a very low tip. This thing is going to be fantastic for, you know, draw cuts, utility style cuts, anywhere or any kind of cutting where you need a nice, sharp, fine tip for doing detail work, you know, something small. Very, very thin behind the edge. The thing is slicey as crap. I would call this probably a sheep's foot blade, modified sheep's foot. Maybe, well, no, it's not a Warncliffe. I would call it probably a modified sheep's foot. My one complaint with the blade is the sharpening choil area is not very generous. You can see the edge ends here, and then there's a very small space before the plunge grind starts sloping up. But, you know, that's okay. You'll get a couple really good sharpens out of this thing, and in all honesty, you're really probably not going to be sharpening this knife very often. You could probably keep this thing alive on a strop for a long, long time. We got looking at G10 handle scales. They do sell these in copper with a Damascus blade and a couple of different color G10s. I haven't seen any micarta, I don't think. We've got a pocket clip that is not quite deep carry. Got a little bit sticking out. G10 backspacer. No jimping, a little bit on the lock bar, and on the front flipper is actually really good. It's fine jimping and it wraps around the top. So all you have to do is just place your finger up here anywhere and just pull back, and that blade is just popping open. It is so easy. In my opinion, it is way easier to do the over-the-top flick on this knife than to do the classic, you know, thumb front flick. You can do it very easily as well, but to me, this knife is just, oh, it's so good. It feels so satisfying to do that. And plus, if you do it this way, you flick it out, your pointer finger is already out, so you can just move it up here, brace against the tip, and you're cutting. You're slicing, baby. Speaking of the pocket clip, before we move on, let's stick it in the old Carhartts here. See how she functions. Again, if it goes in and out of the Carhartts, it'll go in and out of any pants, because these are very thick seams. Let's try it out. Oh yeah, super duper easy. A little bit poking out there, that's not going to bother anybody, at least not me. Very easy in and out of the pocket, super duper easy. Again, it's Civivi's typical clip that I am not a huge fan of. But if you don't like this one, you can always get one of these bad boys. I made a video on these recently. These are titanium clips made by Civivi, so they fit a lot of Civivi knives, not all. But it looks like it probably would fit on the McKenna pretty easily. So imagine that titanium pocket clip on this guy. Oh boy, that's going to class it up significantly. If you want to get one of these, go look at my video, and there's going to be a link in the description that'll take you right to these. They sell them in this plain and then also a black coated version. Love it. So ergonomically, I feel the clip quite a bit. You know, it's just kind of how it is with this style clips. But again, if you get this one, it's going to be really nice and smooth, nothing to poke you at all. Aside from the clip poking me, it's a pretty comfortable knife. You know, there's not really much to hurt you or feel weird. You can grasp it this way, you can put your thumb up here. That jimping from the front flipper is exposed here, but it really doesn't provide any meaningful traction. But once again, you know, you don't really need jimping on a knife like this because you're not, you know, gripping it with all your might. You know, it's a light use knife. Action. Very, very good opening. It's not fall shut, but it is very smooth. You know, as far as the front flipper action goes, it's incredible. I mean, and I really think that has a lot to do with this jimping. Like I said, you put your finger over here anywhere. You could do it here. You could do it back here. Anywhere you put your finger, you're able to open this knife up. So I really love that. It's just so simple. It's got internal stop pins, which is cool. You can see there a stud on either side of the blade there. They move with the blade, and then they fall into slots on either side there. And the same goes for the closed position. They fall right into those slots in there. That's just a way to increase side-to-side blade stability, and it also helps you not wear out your stop pin as quickly because there's two sides to it and there's more surface area there. I freaking love this knife. It is not mine, it's being lent to me, but as soon as I started messing around with it and started carrying it, I knew immediately that I had to have one. This thing is just really good design. I would be curious to see if maybe someday he would design a larger one. I would be definitely up for checking that out. But at the same time, I think this thing might function as, you know, this size even better than if it was a little bit larger. I think just the whole package of it being so small, so snappy, so easy to open, it's just kind of a vibe, if you know what I mean. So maybe a bigger size would not be the thing to do, because I'm really content with this size here. Full flat ground, like I said, very, very thin behind the edge. Let's do a little slicing and check it out. I don't know what kind of edge this guy has on here. Let's check it out though. Yeah, decent for sure. I don't know if that's the factory edge or if he put it on, but oops, very, very slicey. Yep, like I said, this thing is a slicing beast. This is your package's worst nightmare, or your letter that you got in the mail. It sees this thing and it starts shaking in its folds. Okie dokie. Yeah, that's about it. This is the Civivi. God. This is the Civivi McKenna, and I really, really freaking like it. Get yourself one. They're about, I think, around 60 to 70 bucks. Which, I don't know. I think it could be a little cheaper. You know, it's small. There's not a whole lot of material here. But again, it is a really good design. So, you know, to some degree, you are paying up for, you know, the design of the knife and how good you think it is. And I happen to think this design is really, really good. So I think, you know, they could charge less, I think, but I don't have a problem spending 60 or 70 bucks on this thing just because I love it so much. Yeah, that's about it. Civivi McKenna. I'll put a link for this down below if you want to go get one yourself, like I am. And thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're not already. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next video.